How to Eat More and Lose Weight. So I know that this title probably got you interested because who wouldn't love to eat more and yet lose weight? And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about in this video. There are multiple aspects to this. There's the aspect in terms of the food that you actually eat, and also there's a whole mindset aspect to it, and there's also like a connection of these two. We're going to talk about all of that today, and make sure that you stay until the end because it's really going to be the main goal, the main thing to do that really ties everything together. Let's go. So the first thing you need to do is you need to eat more nutrient-dense foods. And so that's mainly found in whole foods because these foods are packed in nutrients, in fiber, in water, in vitamins and minerals, and all the things that are going to keep your body healthy and satisfied, and making sure that you're getting like all the essential nutrients that you need. So these foods include all the fruit and veggies and grains, specifically whole grains, and all sorts of legumes like lentils and beans, certain types of chicken and fish, nuts and seeds, certain soy-based products. So these foods are going to help you manage your calorie intake, sure, but more importantly, they are absolutely essential to your health. They're going to provide the necessary nutrients for your body to function the best that it can and improve your digestion, improve your blood sugar levels, improve your heart condition. And this approach isn't about restricting your food intake at all. You just need to eat more of these foods so that gradually they start to replace the more processed foods. And another great thing about these nutrient-dense foods is if you focus on the whole foods over the processed foods, they are going to be way more satisfying and satiating. For instance, if you eat a whole apple, obviously that is going to take a little bit longer and keep you a little bit fuller than if you were eating applesauce. Or if you eat like 2 oranges, again, that's going to keep you fuller than if you drink a glass of orange juice. Another thing to remember is that processed foods are highly palatable. They're made to be like addictive, and even if you can't be addicted to foods specifically, you can feel that you like can't get enough of these foods. And again, that's because they put a bunch of sugar, a bunch of fats in them. And again, that doesn't mean that these foods are bad at all. And you'll see in my next points that you really still need to be incorporating these foods. However, they shouldn't be the main like bulk of your meals. If they are, then you're not going to be able to eat a lot, and you're going to be missing out on nutrients and on like general satisfaction, and that's not good. But make sure you eat your treats as well. Contrary to popular belief, junk foods and treat food really can have their place in a balanced diet, and actually they should have their place as long as they aren't consumed like all the time in excess, but you have them in moderation. You can have them regularly, it just needs to be not huge portions. Because what happens if you completely eliminate these foods from your diet, then you're going to crave them even more because you're just not allowed to have them. And so you are going to end up binging on these foods when you do have access to them, and this in turn is going to cause weight gain. But if you instead allow yourself small portions of these foods, like maybe a couple squares of chocolate after lunch for dessert, or maybe a couple slices of pizza alongside a salad, or your favorite soda on like Friday night. As long as you're eating these foods alongside whole foods that we talked about in the previous point, that's absolutely fine to do. This approach will really help you create a sustainable way of eating, a sustainable diet, and this will prevent you from binging, or at least like overeating, overindulging every time you get access to certain foods. It's all about creating a healthy relationship with food where you are able to eat the foods you like, and you are able to do so without guilt, without feelings of restriction, and this in turn will lower your desire to overeat these foods or even binge on them, which will in the long run make you lose weight. Because when you do this, what will happen is that you won't end up binging on restricted foods because no foods will be restricted. So that will in turn lead you to consuming less calories. So yeah, technically you're not consuming fewer calories. However, if you compare a like 1200 calorie day of eating followed by a 2000 calorie binge, if you do that at least once a week, multiple times a week even, and you compare that to just a 2000 calorie day of eating every day and no binges, so you'll have the sensation of eating more food, you will start to lose weight, and you won't have these feelings of like guilt or shame that come with a binge eating episode. So it's like a win-win-win situation. It's also crucial that you work on limiting and getting rid of, if possible, your cognitive restriction. And what that is, it's this mental restriction that you impose upon yourself, and that kind of dictates what you should eat, when you should eat, how much you should eat when it comes to food. And the main problem with it is that even if you kind of like end up eating the food, then all the guilt and shame that you're going to be feeling from that like mental restriction is not going to allow you to take in the full like satisfaction of these foods. So basically you're just going to be eating and you're not going to feel good because you're going to have all these bad emotions coming at you. So it's going to take way more food for you to feel satisfied, and even then you're likely not really going to ever be satisfied. Just a little reminder that you can find all of the services I offer on my website, and that's going to be the first link in the description. You can check out things that are paid, like my nutrition coaching sessions or my courses, but there's also a ton of free material, from webinars to ebooks to checklists to challenges, so make sure to check that out. That's really the way it should be. Again, no foods are good or bad. You can totally enjoy treats, and that's actually going to be a good thing for your body. So once you're able to do that, then you're going to be satisfied with a lot less than if you were to mentally restrict and tell yourself, this is bad, I'm a bad person, I'm failing my diet, I'm so guilty, I'm going to like start over fresh the second I am done with this. Now I need to finish this entire bag because that way on Monday I won't have like anything else and I'm gonna have to eat my salad, and you're just gonna be like overwhelmed by these thoughts and never gonna feel the satisfaction of what you're eating. So learn to get out of that by learning to get out of the food guilt, letting yourself 100% enjoy what you're eating without thinking of emotions, negative emotions, understanding that these negative emotions have no place when you enjoy food. You also really need to understand your metabolism. Not very many people actually understand how your metabolism works. Basically, it just converts your food into energy. And there's this common misconception that if you're very skinny, that means you have a very fast metabolism. If you're overweight, that means you have a very slow metabolism, when it's actually the opposite. There's also this confusion where people think that the less they eat, the more weight they will lose. But again, that's not how the metabolism works, because if you consume too few calories, then that will cause your metabolism to slow down. It's going to want to conserve that energy. It's going to become very efficient at transforming what you eat into energy, and you're not gonna have like very many calories burned by doing that. So the times you do eat, your body is going to conserve more of it. You're not going to burn as much. So when you start actually eating enough, and more importantly, eating regular meals, regular balanced meals around the same time, making sure that you're not waiting too long in between meals and that you're eating enough for every meal, then you are letting your body know that there is this constant supply of energy that is coming. So it doesn't have to conserve anything. It can use what it needs, and therefore your metabolism will be faster, more active, and you will lose more weight. Now, obviously, this doesn't mean eating excess calories. Of course, there's still, law of thermodynamics. If you eat way too much, then you're not going to be able to use up everything, and you're going to gain weight. So don't do what I didn't say here. But you need to make sure that you're eating to your hunger levels, that you are satisfied. And a good kind of rule of thumb for that is that the meal that you eat should keep you full for about 3 to 4 hours. If you get hungry in an hour, then probably you didn't eat enough. And if you don't get hungry after 4 hours, then probably you ate too much. Now, this is oversimplifying it, because if you are not in tune with your hunger fullness cues, or if you have a restrictive past, that's not going to really work for you, like this kind of time frame. So I really suggest that you watch a lot of my videos on that, on mindful eating, on finding portion sizes that are right for you, on listening to your hunger and fullness. Just roam through my channel. So now this is the main goal, the main tip that you really need to remember, that's really going to bring everything together. You need to understand that the main goal for all of this is satisfaction. That's the key. You need to be satisfied with your diet. Satisfaction is the key for this to work, and this means both in like the physical satisfaction, feeling satiated, and also in the enjoyment of food, being satisfied with the types of foods that you're eating. Because if you're satisfied with the foods that you're eating, if you're eating varied, and if you're eating foods that you actually enjoy, then that diet is going to be sustainable, meaning you're not going to feel like you're on a diet. You're going to feel like you are just switching up your kind of like eating habits. That's what it should be. When you are incorporating foods you love, that is going to decrease the urge for binging, decrease the urge for overindulging, even decrease the general urge for these foods. I know that you may feel like if you have these foods available, if you eat a little bit of these foods, then it's just going to make you go down a rabbit hole where you have more and more and more. But that's only because you are preventing yourself from having these foods. If they become accessible to you daily, you will not crave them as much anymore. Yeah, there may be a slight adjustment period, of course, before your body gets that these foods aren't off limits anymore, but that's it. Once that is gone, you will be able to have these foods and not want to eat all of them all the time. And a very important part of this approach is that it's not about restricting food intake, it's about finding more enjoyment and more pleasure in the foods that are healthier, have more nutrients, more nutrient dense, more whole foods, all of that. Because there are a ton of foods like that that are absolutely delicious, and you need to have fun trying them out and seeing which ones you like. Have fun trying out different ways to cook them and different spices and seasonings to try on them, different ways to mix and match them together. Again, it's super crucial that the way that you're eating feels enjoyable and you're satisfied with it. There's enough variety. You're not always eating the same thing, and it's not bland, it's not tasteless. It's stuff you like eating. That is the key, like the secret. Healthy eating can taste so good if you just learn to try out a little bit, and also if you remember that a few foods that aren't that healthy can totally be fine if they make you eat more of that healthy meal. Like having your favorite sauce with your like veggies, dipping them in your favorite sauce, absolutely fine. It's getting you to eat more veggies. Or having a bunch of cheese, grated cheese on your like whole wheat spaghetti and chopped veggies, again, better than not enjoying the spaghetti and chopped veggies. And when you do all of that, you will not want to overindulge again. You will not want that, and you will not feel good when you do that, and it will just not happen. It's magical. It really is. Now, another key aspect to the satisfaction factor is fullness. You need to feel like physically satiated so that you don't overeat or binge later on. So you need to make sure that you're eating the nutrient dense whole foods that we talked about earlier that are rich in fiber and water and vitamins, all of that, all the nutrients your body needs, and that will keep your blood sugar levels pretty stable, and that will enable you to have like constant energy throughout the day. Make sure that you're eating enough meals, all of that. Embracing mindful eating, which involves really being in tune with your own like hunger fullness cues and eating when you're hungry but stopping when you're full, and making sure that you're really focused on your meal, that there aren't like a bunch of distractions, so that you're making sure that you're getting the real true satisfaction from your meal, you know, and that you're not missing out on the experience. All of that is very important, and I have a playlist on mindful and intuitive eating that can help if you're interested, right here or in the description. Now, it's also crucial to remember that if you're eating healthy, if you're incorporating treats, if you're doing all of that, but you're under eating, like all your meals are like 300 calories, then you're not going to be satisfied. you're not. This will lead to overeating and binging, and maybe you won't understand because you'll be like, well, I eat healthy meals, I incorporate my treats, why am I binging? Well, because you're starving yourself, and that's going to lead to slow down metabolism, and so you're going to hang on to all the weight that you do gain, and that's just not good. So eating enough, feeling satisfied in your meals, all of that is key. So ultimately, yes, chances are you won't be eating like way more food. However, you will be under the impression that you are, because you're going to be having much more filling and satisfying meals regularly, and nutrient-dense foods are really going to keep you satiated. Also, you're going to be including treats and junk food into your diet, which will keep you satisfied with it emotionally and like satisfy your cravings and prevent any type of binges. And this will ultimately help you lose weight in a healthy and sustainable way, the only right way to do so for it to actually stay off. So that's it for this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like it and subscribe, and see you on my next one. Bye.